Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roth.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new Dexter Resurrection theory discussion, guys. We are more than a little bit excited at this point to see this show back. It's coming on July 11th. We have been here already talking about some various newcomers to this franchise. What are they bringing to the table? What's their relationship going to be with Dexter Morgan?
And today we're going to be talking about David Dastmalchian, someone that I'm very excited about that's going to be on this show. If you don't know David, you are in for a treat. He is so good at being so bad. I mean, when I heard that he was going to be a killer on this show, I didn't even have an inside voice anymore. David is just an agent of chaos. And with these other killers, I mean, this is a really heavy roster, but David coming in as the Gemini killer, he's going to be killing in pairs. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. These other killers are going to have a run for their money.
I think it's going to be really, really exciting, really, really fun. Like you laid it out. David is one of these actors, who's just incredible at playing really interesting, nefarious people. I mean, you might have seen him as Murdoch on MacGyver, or
Yes.
he was on The Flash. He's played a lot of very sinister people, and he's also on Murderbot, a show that we are covering
Oh.
right now over on Patreon, where he's showing a little bit of a different side.
He is so good on Murderbot. If you are not watching Murderbot, you are really missing out. It is a side of David that we haven't get to see very often because, yeah, he is always playing like these more nefarious characters. We actually had a chance to speak to him during the MacGyver days, and he's just so nice, and which is so interesting because he is really good at playing bad guys. But over on Murderbot,
Yeah.
he's just such this amazing, more gentle, emotional character. Is something that I've never seen before. And he actually also has a YouTube channel called Grave Conversations, which I really appreciate as a funeral director, where he's having these like fun, interesting, but relatable conversations about death and what happens and pre-planning and all these different things. It's just, he's a really versatile guy.
He is, and that's why I'm coming into Dexter Resurrection for him being like, okay, yeah, he's gonna be a character named the Gemini Killer. Obviously, he's gonna be a baddie, but at the same time, I'm kind of sitting back and being like, okay, we know he can do this role. What else is there? Is there a little twist that's coming? I'm just a little bit suspicious that there's a little bit more to this guy than first meets the eye.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we're going to be here throughout all of Dexter Resurrection. We will have reviews. We're also going to have previews and a lot more theories. 3 videos every single week. And by subscribing, you guys are just making sure you do not miss out on all the action here. And of course, we greatly appreciate anyone who is on board.
Absolutely. It really helps us here at the channel. We are also going to be covering Alien Earth this summer, which I'm really excited about. I
Yeah.
really love that franchise. And over on our Patreon, as Matt said, we are covering Murderbot, also with David, and we're covering Criminal Minds, Countdown. There's all kinds of great stuff going on over there, and is the only place that you can get those weekly videos. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you, guys. We very, very much appreciate that. Okay, as we do when we're spotlighting some of these killers here, we like to do a little bit of table setting. So I'm going to get out the silverware and talk a little bit about the official description here for this guy, and it comes via USA Today. So first and foremost, the Gemini Killer's real name is Gareth, but let's be honest, Gemini Killer is way cooler and way more dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, he is a brilliant mind with a devious need to kill people in pairs. He's been doing this for years, leaving the FBI with no clues as to his true identity. But he's built such a name for himself that books, movies, and podcasts, as the Arconia from Only Murders in
I
the
know.
Building, getting in on this action, but all these sources are detailing his terrifying exploits.
Yeah, which is really exciting. I mean, most of the other killers that Dexter has gone up against, not like this, not famous, where he's able to elude FBI, police, but has everybody talking about him. And I'm really glad that they actually are touching on this because it is a different era now. There is
Yeah.
podcasts and YouTube and social media and all kinds of stuff like that. talking about true crime is like the top of the tops. All the biggest podcasts are all about this. Everybody wants a piece. So to not have this in Dexter would have made my head shake a little bit. At some point, they have to tackle this, and having David in the role of this, I mean, this is just a perfect casting for this.
Yeah, it's a good mixture of different things. And I think on top of all this, we're kind of looking at the Resurrection from this strange angle that's like, okay, we have a very well-known killer who's seemingly still being brought in by Peter Dinklage
Yeah.
and Uma Thurman's characters, where they're sort of rounding up all these people. It's still unclear as to why, especially with the Gemini killer, someone who has apparently been secretive to everyone. How do they know where he is?
Yeah, that's also the thing, right? If he's got this fame that's following him around, he's podcast, books, movies, everything about him, and nobody can catch him, it is surprising then that he would take Leon up on any offer at that point, because having that fame behind him, but nobody can actually figure out who he is, except for someone with $1 billion. I mean, they're going to be able to find whatever they want. But it is interesting that this character, that Gareth, would actually come out of hiding. So to me, my tinfoil hat is that he's going to have a little bit of an ego. He's going to be feeling himself a bit to be like, yeah, I can do whatever I want. Everybody's making these movies about me and books about me. I'm amazing. I'm famous. Now this billionaire wants to bring me out. No problem. No one's going to catch me anyways.
That would be something that a character with an ego would do at that point. If they think there's no repercussions for it, yeah, I mean, you might as well. Now,
Right.
we know that Gareth is a guest star character, and it seems like on paper this is similar to Neil Patrick Harris, Kristen Ritter, Eric Stonestreet. We've discussed them in videos before, where
Mhm.
I am going into this anticipating that maybe David's going to be in 3 or 4 episodes. If he's in more than that, I ain't going to be mad about it. I will be very, very happy. I just do not want to get myself in a mindset where we're going to see him every week, and then lo and behold, I'm disappointed later.
Okay, this is my hope.
Okay.
My hopeful hat.
Oh, this is a new hat. What does this hat look like? Got fireworks coming out of it or
That's
something?
right. My hopeful hat is that because we do have these guest stars that are only in a few episodes, they've kind of like hinted around that maybe we might see them in further seasons, that maybe we would get like a whole season of the Gemini Killer if he doesn't end up getting caught or killed by Dexter, that it's just setting up for multiple seasons where we might see these killers back, probably depending on what the audience reaction is to them, if they
Yeah.
have more story to tell. I mean, with this killer, there's a lot of story to tell. Clearly, they're making movies, books,
Yeah.
podcasts, right? There's so much lore with the Gemini Killer that it feels like he's easily the biggest of the baddies that are in this group. So, I mean, either one of two things might happen here, where either Dexter's going to absolutely kill him because he is the biggest of the baddies, or he's going to continue to be elusive and get away, and we will have a whole season of David.
Nobody's going to be upset about that. Okay, now we move into things that make you go, And here's what makes me go, It has to do with an interview David gave with the playlist. And he's talking about this role. And he says, it's not what you're expecting, ... It's one of those things where I think people will be like, wait a second, is that David? I hope they are. This is fascinating to me because what I would expect from David, given his rich history of playing nefarious characters, is that this would be nefarious. So is he saying this because this character's not as nefarious as it seems, or does he want me to think that when in reality he's even more nefarious and I am just being tricked?
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe the Gemini Killer, him being brought in, what if he's a faker and it's not actually him and Leon got the wrong person? Or because, David does play these baddies, but, they're complicated characters. He's not typically out there, like I said, maybe having this huge ego. Oh, I'm the top of the pops. Nobody can catch me. I'm amazing. I'm so famous. Like, that's not a character that David typically plays when he's playing baddies. So, I mean, that could be the twist here that we haven't seen David do.
Okay, let's just get into this idea of being a faker here for a moment since you brought this up. Like, if if no one knows what this guy looks like,
Right?
can't you just easily go in and be like, I am Spartacus, or I mean, in this instance, I am the Gemini Killer, and it's
It's
just
me.
like, is anybody gonna know? Like, as
Yeah.
long as you have information, and if there's enough material out there, and clearly there is
Hmm.
about this guy, it feels like you could just do your homework, prepare. Now, I don't know why you would want people to think you're out there killing people left and right. It seems like that's a good cause to get arrested.
Money, fame, being part of something. There's all kinds of reasons that he may want to try to claim. If nobody knows what he looks like, then yeah, he could be someone who's a copycat or somebody who just is really down the hole about the Gemini Killer, knows everything there is, and is able to come in and fake it. And I think that would be really interesting to have all these killers in
Mhm.
here. And then in comes Gareth being like, hello, fellow serial killers, and just kind of fake his way through it.
Okay, I'm gonna put on a tinfoil hat. This is like an instant
Okay.
tinfoil hat because this is something I literally just thought of.
All right.
Okay, well, what if he's a very specific sort of figure here for a moment. What if we have Gareth, and since we're talking about the idea of Gemini and things coming in twos, what if he's a twin? And what if we have Gareth, and then David
Mm.
is also playing Gary, and Gary is the actual Gemini killer, and Gareth is sort of just being brought in here as sort of this patsy who can be a face of the operation, and maybe that's how they've been able to evade people all this time. It's just that anytime one of them's doing the killing, the other person's out there kind of watching, making sure nobody is paying any attention, getting together a getaway plan. It feels like it would be something David hasn't done before.
I would be interested to find out that the Gemini Killer is actually twins and it is two of them. And that would also make sense then of how he's able to get two people at a time, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's not that, I would assume, not that easy to kill one person at
yeah.
a time, let alone one person trying to kill two people at a time every time. But if there's two of you, you can get away with a lot more. You can have alibis because it's like, oh, Gareth was down at the bar
Yeah,
because Gary was actually killing somebody, that kind of feeling. I would love that twist.
I
I'm
think we
not
can.
always about like a twin twist, but that one would be really good.
Yeah, it's all about context, right? It's all about finding a way to do this so it's not just sort of like too soap opera-y. But I feel like Dexter has the framework that they can pull off something like this. I mean, Dexter has certainly done crazier twists. I mean, need we remind everybody that Deb was in love with Dexter? Like, we've seen
Bro.
really, really wild things with this show. Like this more could easily more than work in my mind, and it could
Mhm.
also give perhaps Gary slash Garrett a potential alibi in the event somebody's doing the killing. It's like, oh, it can't be me. Like I saw a couple of the pictures that are out there for this guy. He looks like he could have been my English professor from college. He's got like, that sort of professorial jacket on or whatever. He could just be up there in front of some students while somebody is being killed and nobody would ever know the wiser.
David always just looks like, to me, that cool guy in high school, like that art student that's like all mysterious and dark in the corner drawing cartoons and comics the whole time. And you're just like, man, that guy's too cool to be around me. But man, I'd love to talk to him. And truly, in reality, he's just a nerd in the corner drawing comics.
Yeah, he's like he's the aspirational nerd. He's like the nerd that
Yes.
so many of us like aspire to end up being here. But okay, all right, let's relate all this back to Dexter himself for a
Hmm.
moment here because I think there's a lot of questions with okay, why is Dexter being brought in with a lot of these other killers? And like the easy assumption to make is that okay, Leon is using all of them for something, whether he's assembling his
Hmm.
weird Avengers, whether there's like a specific person he wants to take out who's been really, just elusive and he needs one of them to go after him. I'm just kind of worried that if Dexter ends up sort of ticking off Leon or making some of these other people upset, then is the Gemini killer then going to come after both him and then Harrison? Because there's not really a lot said about the relationship of the pairs in which the Gemini killer is taking out. Like, are they related to each other? Are they random? I'm sure there's like a rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, Dexter and Harrison, that's a pair. And I mean, why wouldn't he end up taking them out at some point? He's going to take out another big killer. I mean, if he's able to kind of get that information out there. And as the Gemini killer, I kind of think he's probably feeding information out there on some of his kills so that he can be famous.
Yeah.
Taking out someone who's, the Dark Passenger, the Bay Harbor Butcher, plus their son, who is also killing people potentially, that, this would be a huge boon for him to get another movie made.
Yeah, I just really think that the Gemini Killer, some of these other newcomers who being brought on board, like this is all just an opportunity for Clyde Phillips and the producers to cook a little bit and sort of figure out what's something we haven't done on this show before that's dark, kind of twisted, still has a little bit of that biting humor. And David's just the perfect person for that because he can be very funny. He can be
He's
very
so funny.
but he can also creep you out at the same exact time.
Yes.
Like you need that combination of things with a show like this. I mean, it goes all the way back to, what we saw in season 1. In season 1, there was so much of those things mixing together. And I think that there's a great opportunity here to bring Dexter Resurrection a little bit back to the roots. And I really hope they hit that.
Yeah, and I mean, with a lot of our other, character reviews that we've gone through, it feels like there's ways to potentially tie each of them into Dexter. So is it possible that there's some sort of a past tie with the Gemini Killer and Dexter? Like, I wonder if Leon is doing this because he's a billionaire, has too much money, too much time on his hands. It's like, I like to collect things. I'm gonna collect these killers. Or if it's something else where it's like, I'm going to collect these killers because I actually want to collect one killer, and it's Dexter. And the way that I can kind of do that is by bringing in these other killers. Or for maybe there's a connection with Leon that Dexter doesn't remember or doesn't know about, that somebody he killed along the line was related or connected to Leon. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to bring in all these killers because I'd actually like to get Dexter done, and that it's going to be almost like kind of like The Running Man.
Well, one, that would be very interesting. And I mean, two, speaking of connections, like there is also this case you can make here that, okay, is the Gemini Killer inspired in some way by Trinity, just because Trinity was very famous for taking out people in threes and he had like a pattern, and we don't know that much about the Gemini pattern, but twos, threes, it's all numbers in that sort of way, right?
Yep.
Okay, but that is where we are with David as the Gemini Killer. Let's just turn this over to you guys. Like, based on everything we've said here, is this one of the most interesting new baddies that we've got on Dexter Resurrection? Where do you think he stacks up with the others? Let us know in the comments. And yeah, hit that subscribe button because we have a whole lot more to talk about throughout this season. Reviews, previews, theories, and support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. And yeah, we are covering Murderbot there alongside Criminal Minds Evolution and Countdown. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.